welcome to the Utah Puck Report, episode 500. I just want to thank everybody that's listened and believed in the podcast and subscribed. Also, want to mention my brothers and sisters in harm's way in Southern California right now, those unimaginable fires. Be safe, and we're thinking of you and praying of you. And now, it's time. The two people that really believe in Utah and took a chance on hockey. Thank you guys so much for being a guest on my 500th show, Ryan and Ashley Smith. Ashley, I've never met you before, so it's nice to finally meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, and congratulations on 500 episodes.
That's unbelievable.
That's
Way to go. That means you started when very few people were believing in hockey in Utah.
Honestly, for a while, I had like 13 listeners or 13 subscribers. And then obviously this year, it's gotten a lot more thanks to your guys' help. So, and that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. Like, here we are mid-season. We launched, Puck Drop 3 months ago, and you knew somewhat what you guys were getting into. But this has to be pretty amazing. Like, what do you take away from the last 3 months? What did you expect, and what has happened that you haven't expected?
Well, I mean, it has been a much wilder and way more fun ride than I did expect, and I was expecting that already. So that's been exciting. But I think the biggest thing that's shocked me has been the fans. I think I was naive to how deeply rooted hockey love is. And I love learning more about like the culture and the traditions and the generations of fans that I'm learning and meeting. And I had no idea that there's a whole other group of people that existed already in Utah and just didn't have a team here to cheer for. Right. So it's been mind blowing and a lot of fun. And I want to be a part of it. So I'm excited to be a part of something that I didn't know was so deeply rooted. And it just feels like a community, like something to be a part of, which is the whole purpose of sports in general. But I just was unaware that this sport in particular, it's just so deep. It's just really deep.
Yeah, that's kind of been one of the things with hockey is we welcome everybody in. You want to learn the sport, whether you want to play it or watch it, we're going to help you learn the rules. And we're going to make you a welcome part of the family. At least that's always been my experience with it. And I think, Ryan, you and I sat down almost a year ago, maybe 10 months ago, and you said, I'm probably going to get a team. Do you believe it'll work? And I'm like, yeah, there's a culture here. And has that been your experience too? And I want to talk about you going viral after the shootout. You went viral, pounding on the glass and celebrating, and talk us through that a little bit.
Well, so I think first, Jay, I remember that day. I mean, someone here said, hey, because I hadn't followed much of it, say, Jay's he's kind of doing this on the side. There's this hockey beat that he's got, and he's working through it. And so we sat down and, people can come up with all the data that they want. And I'm a data guy. So it's a little bit like, but no one, there were so many surprises, so many firsts that you kind of didn't know how it was going to fully go. There was no true picture of like what we were going to experience because, bringing our players here for the very first time, dropping the puck for the first time, opening night, the first time that we've got, we've had probably 4 weeks where we've had 5 games in 1 week in the Delta. That's unprecedented. And so how that's been and how the world's seen it and, just going all over and traveling and people being like, hey, I watched your game. I watched the hockey. I love it. I love the environment. It feels so good. And then as Ashley was saying, just our fans and just surprised about what fan or what, I think we make a mistake often thinking that we have one type of fan. And if you actually think about our arenas, they're full of all sorts of different people. And my family, probably my biggest surprise is our biggest fans are the women in my family. They love hockey. And it goes from parents to siblings to sisters, like everyone, and including my little daughter. And We have 3 girls and they literally just love hockey. And I did not think that was going to be the case. And it's not that we had an expectation of one or the other, but I didn't see that one coming as much as they have, where they're tracking it all. They're watching it. They're wanting to watch a hockey game. And
Do your
that's
kids
been
have a
pretty
favorite
cool.
player?
It depends. It depends on the week.
I mean,
You're nodding your head.
Veggies pretty common. at our
Veggies
Okay.
house.
common. Schmaltzy. The girls like to wear this.
Love schmaltz. And of course, spicy tuna. I have a nephew who literally wakes up from his naps in his crib going spicy tuna.
That's amazing.
It's
And
That's
then
amazing.
they all rock Keller's jersey and Cooley, and like it's been pretty cool how these people have gone from no one in the state recognized any of them, and into 4, 5, 6 months, like everyone knows who they are.
which has maybe been one of the coolest things for me as a mom, is all these role models who just entered our world. And so I like to have these examples for my kids of work ethic and collaboration and teamwork and just like grittiness and resilience. I mean, the whole state just got an entire team of role models who are out in the community being rad people in the meantime. So it's been cool. It's been
Did
inspiring.
that kind of surprise you guys how open hockey players are and how available they are to the public? Because that's kind of different from most pro sports,
Yeah,
right?
it's very different, very, very different.
Humble too, right? These
Yeah,
players are just so humble, and they're group driven. Like it's very clear that none of them are just out serving themselves. They are like, it is about the team way more than the individual, which is
and part of that is because one superstar in a team, or even 2, doesn't do it in hockey. You need the full team effort because of people playing for 45 seconds and the shifts and the lines, like
physicality is
and the injuries, and it feels like a football game where people on ice where people are playing every other night.
Yeah.
And so you really have to have that group together. So that's
So
that. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like the synergy seems to really be there between Utah Hockey Club and the Utah Jazz too. Was that something that just organically happened? Did you try to set that up, or was that, in my mind, it seemed like maybe the hockey players were just excited about it, or does the Finnish connection help?
I think everyone's excited about it. Everybody wants to be a part of something great. And so I think that's one of the main motivations for SEG in general, is just like, let's do something great as a team. And so then adding another team, very easily, it could have been like the little sibling coming in, and that is not the vibe. And I think that's on everyone. Like that is just like 2 teams of rad people. I mean, the tradition is so great in hockey, and then to have our hockey team come in, and now their post-game ritual to celebrate the player of the game is with an NBA Jazz ball. So
Yeah.
they've got the rituals going, and then they're bringing in new to it. And these players are at each other's games, and they're having each other over for sauna visits. And it's just like, instead of looking down on or having a divide, which would have been easy, they all players on both teams have just come in like, let's be brothers, let's be siblings, and let's go do awesome stuff together. And it's been rad.
Yeah, and I think part of it is we kind of all have gone through this experience together. So, with our SEG group, we were kind of the ones that kind of received that team. I also think that when we think about the players on the hockey side, they were all coming up here brand new and didn't know what to think. And so when the Jazz side kind of reached out, it gave them a lot of comfort. And then with each of them going to each other's games, that's been really important to us. And so they all know we'll find a way every night if you want to go to each other's games, because what it does is it makes them champions of each other, and they learn a lot from each other. And we've got a bunch of experiences where, I'll never forget, I was sitting, a lot of times like Will Hardy loves to come to the hockey games, and Lowry. In I think there was one play where Sergey, if you remember, we were in the third period and we're up like 4-1 or 3-1. We kind of got the game in the bag, and Sergey blocked a slap shot and hit him in the head. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I totally remember that.
And it was right in front of us, and he was kind of out, right?
Yeah.
And Will turns to Lowry and is like, "What just happened?" And Lowry's explaining to him like, "No, like you get in front of the puck, especially if everyone sees that in the locker room, but it's like that's 100-mile-an-hour slap shot. You're just going to jump in front of it when the game's pretty much over." And it's like, no, the culture is you get in front of that. And the next night we were playing Dallas, and I was in the locker room after the game, and we beat Dallas, and Dallas was playing really well. And I heard one of our players say, "Way to get in front of the puck, guys."
Nice.
And I was like, "Will, like, did you?" And he's like, "Yeah, I showed in the film session, a player getting in front of the puck for the team. And, we're asking to guard a man or switch or get back on defense." And so the crossover is there. Like, you learn lessons and you get inspiration from it. And so I think that's natural.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I know you guys are super short on time. I really want to talk to you a little bit about the SCG Foundation. Ashley, you just anytime you just say I got to go and we'll stop it. But can you? I got to be on the other end of this. You guys came to my firehouse and you brought Archie, and we got to see some of the SCG Foundation in action, paying it forward. And I just want to know a little bit about what it is and what the goal is. And it seems to me, is this something that just launched?
Yeah, so we had the Jazz Scholars Foundation, and then as hockey's now kind of come into our world, I mean, why not? Why not use these role models and this platform and both of these unifying teams to go do good? I mean, that's the whole purpose of sports for me personally anyway. And so, yeah, it's exciting as it kind of takes shape of what exactly SEG Foundation is going to be about. But I mean, it was easy to just go as fast as we could and start getting behind groups in Utah who are already doing a lot of good, and players on both teams, all members of SEG are always ready to jump right on. The Pay It Forward Day that you're referring to, we got to be a part of that as well. And it's just meaningful. It is meaningful. And I think when we're cheering for these teams and these brands and these mascots and identities, it makes us like, it fosters goodwill. So let's go put it to use, right? And that's the purpose of the foundation is we want to do good because we have a microphone. So let's go help people and let's go foster more goodwill, because there's a lot of mental health problems out there. There's a lot of tragedy. There's a lot of hard. So the more goodwill we can foster, the better our state's going to be. And we already have, our state is so full of community engagement on every level, right? We just have so many people doing good. So we're going to take the microphone and we're going to take the platforms and we're going to go put a light on them and do more. That's
and I also think it's not just SEG. So what we're launching is every month we're doing something. The first one was to pay off with
teacher wish list.
Yeah, teacher wish list for teachers and the goods that they needed. The second was the Pay It Forward campaign. And we're doing one every month and everyone can participate. So sponsors, partners, if you want to get behind this, like, this is for the betterment of the state that we live in, which is so incredible. And we're just such a kind and giving state. It's just what makes Utah different. And I think that, when we have something that, everyone can agree upon or rally behind, which are, kind of the Jazz and in hockey, well, how are we using that to help others and benefit others? And I think the SCG Foundation was just a way to get organized around it.
I love seeing, and you talk about how kind the state is, and you guys are so kind and generous. And I love even the extension of that, of you jumping on Twitter and being like, "Hey, I got some seats that are empty." And then where did that come from? Was that just a spur of the moment thing? And did you really give out seats to your own suite? Did you have first time game goers in your own
so
suite?
look, we go to a lot of games, and we have tickets that will come up, or there's, we have events that we can't be at everything. And, that's kind of part of the discussion that we have as a family. And so a lot of times what we have so many fans, or I get, interacted with and saying, hey, like, I'd love to go to a game. And so the idea was really like, we've got some seats if people haven't been to a hockey game before. And, within an hour, there was like 800 responses or something. And I was like, whoa, we have a lot of people who haven't been. And then that's where it came to saying, hey, let's open up the upper bowl and let's actually give those away, because we historically hadn't sold them on the partial view. And sure enough, like, they went in like, 1 minute or whatever it was, where they were gone. And so
phenomenal.
I think this year we want as many new hockey people and fans to come in and experience a game. And we have this unique opportunity with the stadium to be able to offer that. And so we just launched through Smith's a program for $10 tickets and a hot dog or a drink or whatever it was. And that's an incredible opportunity. And I hope everyone takes advantage of it, because it's really probably one of the coolest way in all of sports to take something in.
Yeah, my fire station and the fire station just down the street from my station, we shop at Smith's. I told them the deal was coming, and so we already bought tickets. Both crews are going to the Montreal Canadiens game, and so we're pumped about it. I told them, like, all you got to do is be in the building. It doesn't matter if you can see both goals. Like, if you're in that building and in that atmosphere, you're gonna just fall in love with the game.
Well, definitely hit us. We'll do something fun.
All right, perfect. You guys, I know you're in a hurry, and I just can't thank you enough for spending the time with me. And I hope soon we can get together and talk about, the progress of the season and how amazing everything was. And, you're always welcome to reach out to me anytime. You can use me as a platform or whatever I can do to help you guys, because I appreciate everything you guys have done.
Hey, Jay, nothing was better than sitting in the draft and doing that media interview. And I look over and see you down in Las Vegas. And I was like, you can't make this up. Like, you can't make this up. We were sitting there 6 months earlier, and now we're announcing the first draft pick. And I was just like, you're a huge part of this story, and you've been believing in kind of carrying the flag a lot longer than we have. And so we're just happy to be a conduit to kind of help bring this. And I think the number one thing I see is when people walk in for the first time in the arena and they see that NHL logo, see the Utah Hockey Club logo, it's just chills. I see it every single time where they're like, wait, this is truly ours. It's ours forever.
This logo's taken over my life. It's on like 90% of my wardrobe now. It's
yeah, the color scheme's pretty dope. The color scheme's pretty dope. I'm watching it everywhere. All right. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, guys. And that is the Utah Puck Report. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Utah Puck Report. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Rate us, leave us feedback, let us know what you want us to do better. Big thanks to our sponsors, Only Crowns. Love having a dentist sponsor for the hockey podcast. Check them out at onlycrowns.com. Thanks to KSL Sports, the Utah Hockey Club, Madison Miller, and Tegan Stevens for producing. And thanks to the American Hitmen for that awesome intro song. We'll see you next week.